Washington.
Now, don't you go through life worrying about whether somebody like you or not. You best be making sure they're doing right by you.
Davis.
I gave 18 years of my life to stand in the same spot as you.
Fences. I think I'm ready for this.
Ice hole is prepared. How's yours?
Okay. All right.
I'm going to throw this out to all voting members of the Academy. Give Viola Davis an Oscar for her performance in Fences.
I got a life too. Don't you think I had dreams and hopes? What about my life? What about me?
It's not even close with anybody else. Just give her the award. All right, gang. So for those that are really unfamiliar with Fences, Fences is the third film from director Denzel Washington. A lot of people, obviously, when they think about Denzel Washington, they think of him as one of the great actors of his generation, which is certainly true, but I mean, he's also a very accomplished director. His previous films were The Great Debaters and Antoine Fisher, and I'm really kind of embarrassed to admit this, but I have not seen either of those films, so bullshit. Take pity on my soul.
Ice hole is prepared. How's yours?
So, I mean, not only was I interested in seeing Fences because it stars Denzel Washington, it is also directed by Denzel Washington, but it is also based on a Pulitzer Prize winning play of the same name by August Wilson. I'm hoping I'm getting that name right. Not only that, but Denzel Washington and Viola Davis starred in the stage version. So I think that's really interesting to see the actors from the stage version make the segue to the feature film version of Fences. It is set in 1950s Pittsburgh, and it stars Washington as this sort of alcoholic slash illiterate war veteran who sort of ekes out a life as a man that works for sanitation for the city of Pittsburgh. He's really struggling with dealing with so many forces conspiring against him in life. I mean, he has to deal with, you know, systemic racism and bigotry for a better part of his life that he feels has held him back from achieving the type of success that he thinks he could have achieved otherwise. Nevertheless, he has had his very devoted and loving wife, played by Viola Davis, stand by him through thick and thin, through every form of trial and tribulation that they have experienced during their marriage.
When I first met this woman, I saw Rose and I latched on to her. I just want to be your man. Rose told me.
I told him if he wasn't a mankind, and move out the way so the mankind could find me.
That's what she told me. You're in my way, you're blocking the view, move out the way so I can find me a husband.
And it should also be noted that Washington's character was once an aspiring athlete who unfortunately tried to break into the big leagues, perhaps too late in life. And I think it was his age that sort of held him back from achieving some level of sporting excellence. His character is a real stubborn man that somehow instills a lot of fear in everyone around him, including his wife and his young son.
How come you ain't never liked me?
Like you? Who the hell said I got to like you? Straighten up, damn it.
And when it appears that his young son potentially could make it as a college athlete, it seems that Washington's character is going to go completely out of his way to instill in his son that he has absolutely zero chance of making it as an athlete of color in an age that still favors white athletes.
He got recruited by a college football team.
It ain't gonna get him nowhere.
If he be like you in the sports, he gonna be all right. Ain't but two men ever played baseball good as you.
And what did it ever get me? I ain't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of.
On a positive, Fences is an absolute performance powerhouse. You know, Denzel Washington, he has very little that he needs to prove as an actor.
King Kong ain't got shit on me.
Like I said before, you know, one of the great thespians, great movie stars of his generation, and you know, he really does such an impeccable job of playing a man completely browbeaten by life. You see this man, he's filled with so much boisterous energy, yet at the same time, he's vulnerable and defensive and stubborn, and seems to go out of his way to make other people understand his pain.
A man is supposed to take care of his family. You live in my house, fill your belly with my food, put your behind on my bed because you're my son.
I mean, I don't want to say that this father character is an evil man or a vindictive man, but he is a man that certainly has a lot of demons in his closet that he unfortunately uses as a manner of projecting his angst onto other people. And that's sort of what makes him, I think, a really compelling character, because he truly loves his family and he truly tries to provide for them in the best possible manner, but oftentimes he commits a lot of very questionable actions that call his character into question. So again, I really like how layered the characters are in this film.
Cory just trying to fill out your shoes.
I don't want him to be like me. I want him to get as far away from my life as he possibly can get. You're the only decent thing ever happened to me, Rose.
As the film sort of slowly evolves, you grow to learn more about his character, and to the point where you almost sort of kind of empathize with his actions and empathize with his feelings and empathize with all of the deeply internalized frustrations this man has had in his life. That's not to say that he is a completely sympathetic character, because he certainly isn't.
I'm not talking about no baseball.
You're not listening to me. I'm trying to explain it to you the best way I know how.
I think you grow to understand where he's coming from. Viola Davis, on the other end, I think she is the real performance standout for me here, and she gives a performance of such heartbreaking angst and sorrow. I'm not really driven to tears by performances, but I mean, she's so soulful and so sympathetic. And there is a point in the film that involves a turn of the plot that I don't really want to get into here, especially for those that are not familiar with the film, if they haven't seen it, or not familiar with the play that preceded it. But I mean, it's just, it's so gut-wrenching. I mean, you're just sort of, you're blown away by the power of her performance. And
I've been right here with you, Troy. I got a life too.
I think it's high time the Academy nominates her and gives her a much-needed statue. She is that strong in this film. I also really like some of the supporting performances. I think the young actor who played his son, and I apologize because his name escapes me, he really has a thankless performance task, because he really has to hold his own against actors like Denzel Washington and Viola Davis, and I think he really does a very fine job.
What you ever give me?
Your feet, them bones that pumping hard.
You never done nothing but hold me back, afraid I was gonna be better than you.
Mykelti Williamson, otherwise known as, and probably forever known as, Bubba from Forrest Gump.
Anyway, like I was saying, shrimp is the fruit of the sea.
He has this very interesting character as he plays Denzel Washington's brother, who, due to a horrific injury in World War II, has a metal plate in his head and clearly has mental issues. And you know,
It's my duty to take care of you. I owe a responsibility to you.
and he has this very special bond, obviously a brotherly bond with Washington's character, but it actually goes a lot deeper than that. And I like how the film sort of you know, really helps sell that relationship bond between those two guys. I was gonna have some complaints about Fences. I would say this: I think the film, it's way too long. I know that Washington probably feels a debt to the play, and he feels that he wants to be as faithful to it as possible. And again, I've never been exposed to the play, I've never seen the play, but I think sometimes what works on stage maybe doesn't necessarily translate well to screen. So there are moments that feel like they drag, and I think that there's some momentum issues here. I think the film runs well over 2 hours. They could have cut down this film just a little bit and make it all coalesce together a little bit more smoothly. Washington's direction at times is a little flat, and it lacks a little bit of character.
Okay. All right.
The film is really built upon a lot of two shots and a lot of static shots, and considering the fact that it takes place mostly in a backyard and in the house of the characters, I would have maybe really appreciated if Washington's direction showed a little bit more visual creativity.
Oh, woman, come here.
The fact that his direction is very low-key and very understated, perhaps a little too understated for my taste, nevertheless, it really allows the performances to shine.
I latched on to her and I told her, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I latched on to her and told her, baby, I don't want to marry. I just want to be your man.
Washington as a director is not nearly as good as Washington as an actor.
That's right. Shit.
I think the film sort of, its title works on sort of like a metaphorical level. I mean, there's a subplot involving him and his son trying to actually build a fence in the backyard, but I think also on a symbolic level, maybe it is speaking to the larger story of the way the father is a domineering presence in this family's life and how he's creating this spiritual wall where he doesn't allow for anyone to have their own life or develop their own sense of identity beyond his sphere of influence. At least that's how I interpret the film.
Some people build fences to keep people out, and other people build fences to keep people in.
Fences is a flawed movie. Again, I think it's very slow moving. Again, lacks a little bit of directorial flair, but man, the performances really help sell it. And I think on that level, this movie deserves to be seen. Washington is as good as ever. Viola Davis, like I mentioned, just give her the award. So there you go, there's my review of Fences. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of the film. Also, let me know in the comments below whether or not you've actually seen the stage version of this film. And let me know what some of your favorite Denzel Washington films are as an actor and as a director. Once again, thank you very much for watching this review. If you could like it, I'd really appreciate it. If you could subscribe to my channel, that would mean the world to me. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you at the movies.
As long as you're in my house, you put a sir on the end of it when you talk to me.
Yes, sir.
You eat every day.
Yes, sir.
Got a roof over your head.
Yes, sir.
Got clothes on your back.
Yes, sir.
Why you think that is?